Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy of Mundo Albiceleste.com. We are here to talk about the Argentina Olympic team, the controversial 2-1 loss versus Morocco, as well as previewing the match versus Iraq in just a couple of hours' time. As always, let us know in the comments down below where you're watching us from. Join the discussion, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. First things first, let's get to it. Osvaldo, how are you? How is everything?
I'm doing very well, Roy. A pleasure to join you. I'm doing well now. I think I'm anxious about tomorrow's game. I was very mad right after the game against Morocco because of everything that happened, and we're gonna talk about it. But now, if you ask me now, I'm just anxious about tomorrow's game. I'm sure the players and the coaching staff is also only thinking about tomorrow's game and not what happened, because that would be a mistake if they continue to think about what happened, which was terrible. Um, but I think that we can definitely go to the next round, and we hope that this loss against Morocco or draw, we still don't know, I guess, can be our Saudi Arabia, like in the World Cup, you know.
No, definitely, definitely. Look, we're going to discuss about everything that happened versus Morocco and everything, but as you said, the players have to look ahead. They cannot look back. Whatever happened, happened. You know, they did not get the 3 points. They did not get the 1 point, which I think they at least deserved that. But the match versus Iraq could be their match versus Mexico. Could be Argentina's match from the World Cup versus Mexico. Even Beltran said that earlier today. We're going to discuss all of that. Let's get to the chat. MMH, hello, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Suraj, watching us all the way from Dallas, Texas, in the United States. Dan Lucas, watching Danny from Rodriguez Island. So thank you, Danny, for joining us, my friend. Unless you've been really, I'm not going to say living under a rock, but unless you've really avoided the media and everything regarding Argentina or the Olympics, you'll have seen what happened. Argentina versus Morocco in the opening match of the Olympics for Javier Mascherano's team. It looked like Argentina drew level 2-2. The goal went in. They celebrated. Moroccan fans stormed the pitch for not the first time during that match, a handful of times, about the seventh time. They stormed the pitch. They were throwing firecrackers at the Argentina players at the bench. They were throwing bottles at them as well. The match was ultimately suspended for about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours, until it was finally decided that the goal was offside and they would finish off the rest of the match and play 3 minutes. I I am as confused as everybody is. Valdo, what do you make of this? And everybody in the chat as well. Let us know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, and we saw the comments of Messi, the ball through social media. Everyone was really, really mad at that moment, and, and I remember even texting you because that day I watched the game, and then I just what happened with the Argentina team, and I'm like, yeah, well, we tied in the last minute. Hopefully, we start playing better. And you texted me like, no, they actually are making the VAR is saying that it's not Argentina's goal. We lost against Morocco, so I couldn't understand it. I was very, very mad. Now, after seeing all the images and everything, I want to say a couple of things. One, I think that the goal is well disallowed. I know that it was terrible the way it was. That it was an hour and a half later, uh, and yeah, of course that was not good. And then something that also I want to talk, Roy, and I don't know what you think, is that I've heard a lot of journalists, fans saying how, well, for example, Argentina was helped by adding extra 15 minutes. To that people, first I want to say that if you say that, you probably didn't watch the game, because um, there was, as you were saying, 7 times the fans from Morocco entered the field in the second half. The Moroccan players were wasting a lot of time, and there's also in all the football games in the Olympics, there's been adding more extra time. I guess that it's because, or more added time. I guess it's because they want the games to be played longer. They want more playing time. So for those that say that Argentina was again helped by the referee or something like that, I just want to tell them that I don't think they watched the game.
No, 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 no. And this was similar. I think they're going down the similar road that what happened at the World Cup in regards to whatever time was being added. If you look at it, 7 times a Moroccan fan or a fan, let's say, entered the pitch. 7 times, if that's an average of 1 to 2 minutes, there's 14 minutes right there. And that's excluding substitutions, excluding stoppages, excluding everything else. So that 15 minute of added time, as crazy as it sounds, is justified. And to go back a little bit to what you were saying, and we'll get to the comments in just a moment, it's not so much the fact that Argentina's goal got disallowed, because looking back at it, it was offside. Is it annoying that it took an hour and a half? Yes, of course it is. But these things happen in football. What's more annoying to me, and I think to you as well, and I'm guessing everybody in the chat too, is there were no sanctions. Nothing happened. I've never really seen this happen before, where fans stormed the pitch, the match is stopped for an hour and a half, and then it continues. I've never seen that. Usually the match is suspended, or it's a forfeit, or something happens. The match doesn't continue. It wasn't the case this time.
No, no, I agree. I think, well, Claudio Tapia submitted a formal complaint to FIFA disciplinary committee, and I think that's the right thing to do. But yeah, it's very weird. They have to receive some sort of sanction, because this can't continue at this level. And we heard the comments from Mascherano, from Otamendi. Um, what happened was something that maybe can happen in an amateur tournament, not in the Olympic Games. You know.
That's exactly it. People talk about the World Cup being the biggest sporting event, and I think it is. The Olympics is massive as well. It's every 4 years. It's every athlete's dream to go to the Olympics. So people are watching, and the lack of security, not for the first time in the last couple of weeks, we've seen it, whether it was the Copa America final or now the Olympics. It's crazy how this is all still happening. Let's get to the chat. Let's see what everyone is talking about. Anthony Garcia, thank you for joining. Tales from the Terrace. Yeah, I'm not really going to translate this, but yes. The other one, no one actually watches. Everyone just hates. And I feel like the big part of social media, especially Twitter or X, is people like to hate on, in this case, Argentina, to bring up MMH's comment. It's the most hated nation now. MMH, it was the biggest circus, to quote Mascherano. Yeah, it's the biggest circus he has ever seen. Seminar, excuse me, saying soccer has never been a focus of the Olympics. That might be a reason. It could be, but at the same time, you're still talking about security. Security at a stadium at the Olympics, that's still pretty massive, whether it's a big or popular sport at the Olympics or not. And Korsiniats, thank you for joining us as well, all the way from Waterloo, Iowa, in the United States. We mentioned a little bit, Osvaldo, you said Mascherano made some comments, right? And I think now is a good time to maybe bring them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because he was very mad. I don't remember the last time I saw Mascherano so mad at the press conference.
He was not happy at all, at all. And well, go ahead if you want to go for it. If you want to read it as well,
Yes, yes. So Mascherano was saying that there was the biggest circus I've ever seen in my life, and I'm actually gonna struggle a little bit in the second sentence. But it was today they invaded the pitch and threw firecrackers at us. They told us that it was finished 2-2. Not even Morocco wanted to play it. Yesterday they broke in and saw Almada's things. They asked us for credentials for everything, and then this happens.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that something like this could happen, and the fact that Mascherano actually came out and spoke about it. And Mascherano usually is someone that won't complain too much, especially when it comes to the referees. But something like this has to be acknowledged, and I'm glad he said something about it, because it's going to add that pressure, right, to the committee, to the security, to whomever it is. So hopefully it changes something. I don't know if it will. Who knows if it does end up changing something, but I'm glad that he spoke out. I'm glad that he spoke out.
I imagine more of a fine some sort of economic fine
Yeah.
to Morocco, but I don't see them like disqualifying them or just taking some points out of them. I don't see that happening. Uh, yeah,
No,
there's not gonna be any way where Argentina gets benefit from this.
no. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. And then let us know, guys, in the chat down below. If you're watching us on repeat on YouTube, let us know down in the comment section. Do you agree with Mascherano? Do you agree with us, or are we wrong? Let us know. I agree with you, Osvaldo. I think it's just going to be a fine at most. I don't think there's going to be a point deduction. I don't think they're going to somehow go back and change the result or anything like that. I think it's just going to be down to maybe a fine, a couple of $1,000s or so towards the maybe the Moroccan FA or something. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, something that I also wanted to talk, Roy, and I guess because of everything that happened after the match, we kind of didn't really talk about it. Was, for example, the second goal of Morocco, the penalty. That penalty that was, for me, I don't think there was a penalty at all.
No.
I think it was Soler, the one that pushed the Moroccan player,
Yeah.
and I don't think that was. I don't think he barely touched him.
I agree with you on that. I was watching the game live, and when I saw it, I saw right away, okay, there was contact, but for me, it wasn't a penalty. But seeing how football is and how football has become, where if you touch a player inside the penalty area and he goes down, it's going to be a penalty. I knew it was going to be a penalty. I don't agree with it. I grew up maybe with it, like a lot of people here. I grew up where football is a physical sport. You get tackled inside the box. It doesn't mean it's a penalty. But the game has become a little bit soft, maybe a little bit too soft. And the smallest contact, the player is going to go down, and they review it, and because there was contact, it's a penalty. I don't think it was. I truly don't think it was at all.
And I bring this up because, again, kind of what I was mentioning before, I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, they added 15 minutes is basically until Argentina ties the match. And
No.
these little things, or big things actually, were against us, totally against us.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Let's get to the chat. We have JT007, JT007. Hey guys from Germany. In my opinion, Echeverri is the next big talent. How come he's not starting? We'll talk a little bit about Echeverri in the lineup versus Iraq in a couple of minutes. So thank you for your question, JT. We'll be getting back to that. Seminar saying, I don't think it is Morocco's fault. It was the organizers and the hosts. I agree with that 1,000%. It's not necessarily the FA's fault if fans run onto the pitch or if the lack of security or security is breached. I don't think it's Morocco's fault by any means. I'm just saying there might be a fine. I don't know who it will go to if there is a fine, if there is. And another comment by Seminar. Keep them coming, everybody. Seminar saying Mascherano has rights to speak out and complain. I don't remember him being angry like that when he was a player, even during the 2014 final of the World Cup, when the referee ignored multiple German fouls. And that's it. Mascherano would maybe argue or yell sometimes during a match, but never like this. Never flat out blaming, blaming somebody or having these kinds of comments at all. I don't recall him doing anything like this. SRVS18, thank you for joining us, saying fans in the stadium who experienced goal but left before discovering that it did not count, and fans watching it from home who switched off the game assuming that it had ended, all asking the score. Yeah, no one knew. No one knew. The match was suspended after about an hour. I tweeted something, just general thoughts about the game, and I remember my X or my Twitter just kind of lacking a little bit or lagging, excuse me. And my post ended up coming after the result that it was announced. It was 2-1, and I was confused. I'm like, what's going on here? Why? And then we saw that the match was being replayed. It's very confusing. I've never seen anything like this in football, to be honest. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, Mascherano said it, and we read the quote, but he was also mentioning how Thiago Almada basically got robbed in the how do you say, Villa Olympic, in the
Yeah, and the Olympic not shoot, I forgot the word. Village.
The village, yeah.
The village.
And I've also read about other teams, other athletes from different countries that have suffered a similar situation, which it's also weird, take into consideration that we are always like, okay, it's Europe, it's something different than South America, you would say. But yeah, something that somehow the organization, the country have to do something about all this.
No, they have to. And if something like this happened in Argentina or in South America or in other parts of the world, maybe, I guarantee you the outcry would have been bigger than it is. But because it's against Argentina and because it's in Europe, it's in France, the outcry is not as much. If this was anywhere else, I mean, we saw it during the Copa America final where what people were saying about Colombian fans and Argentina fans and everything. It's a similar situation, and not many people are talking about it. It's very, very unfortunate that it even happened. It really is. Um, let's get to the chat. Mikael Das, would you like me to go through all the time wasted minute by minute and how it adds to 15? But trust me, my friend, we're well aware it easily adds up to 15 minutes. People that are saying otherwise, as Osvaldo said, probably did not watch the game, really. Um, Rohan, the French are salty and are on course to be the worst hosts of the Olympics. Winning the gold and Otamendi locker room Instagram live will be worth watching. I would pay good money to see that. Very, very good money. Um, and yeah, just going back to what you were saying, Osvaldo, in terms of Almada being robbed. I mean, how does that even happen? Where's the security? There was something today. I cannot remember. I want to say it was Zico, but I don't believe it was Zico. There was a Brazilian player that got robbed today for I think 500,000 euros worth of stuff. This is not normal. We don't normally see these at the Olympics, and it's happening. So I don't know. It's crazy that these things are even happening.
No, yeah, yeah. Today I saw another. I think it was an European team. I don't remember which discipline. That yeah, their car was basically all vandalized, and they robbed a lot of their stuff. Uh, yeah, really weird stuff to happen during this huge event.
Yeah. Oh, big time. It really is. It really is. Um, Jacko Taco, the good question. I think we could maybe tackle this in a little bit, or if we could tackle it right now, whatever you want as well, though. Which of the players from the current squad outside of the three overage players do you see making it to the senior side? I think there's quite a bit, to be honest. I think Echeverry's probably the most popular of names. I think Giuliano Simeone has a decent shout. Yeah, Medina, Zenon maybe in a couple of years. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, Thiago Almada already made it. He won the World Cup. He's not over 23. But then Eki Fernandez, depending where he moves, maybe now going to Saudi Arabia is going to be more difficult. Even Kevin Senon, then we're going to talk a little bit about the possible lineup for tomorrow. It appears that he's not going to start. I think he has an incredible future. He didn't have the best match the other day. I think he was probably the worst player in Argentina. But still, he has an incredible future. Medina, Beltran, um, maybe in the back line, we'll see if they have the
Yeah.
potential. But yeah, we have players in all the lines to make the senior team, I think.
No, the future is definitely bright. We spoke a little bit about Mascherano's comments. There was somebody else that spoke out, someone that's actually part of the team, and not just Messi or De Paul or Tagliafico or a couple of others, but another one, someone who won the World Cup, Nicolas Otamendi. You sent me this, Osvaldo. Otamendi captaining, excuse me, Argentina, saying, it's a historic disgrace. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Morocco didn't want to play, and neither did we. We waited for an hour and 40 minutes, but no one told us anything. It's frustrating because these are the Olympic Games. As for us, we have to look forward and think about Saturday. We are more united than ever. And I think that's the right attitude to have. If you want to talk about what happened, absolutely talk about it, but you have to look at the future. And I'm glad that someone like Otamendi said this, the captain, really the veteran of this team, of this very young Olympic team. I'm glad he said this, and it's all about thinking about Saturday, thinking about the future. And next up for Argentina, it's Argentina versus Iraq, and this is a must-win for Argentina.
It is. It is. Iraq beat Ukraine 2-1 in the first match day of the group. Yeah, we play in only 10 hours, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one. In papers, we have better players. I think that um, yeah, that we have better players, but as a team, we haven't seen, and we talk a little bit about this. We haven't seen much about this team, and it might be mainly be a responsibility of Mascherano. That's why he will continue to try this tournament to make this great group of players play as a team, and hopefully they start doing it tomorrow.
yeah. Look, the match, the performance, let's say, the performance in the opening game, they didn't play bad. The first half, Morocco played very well, had a very nice goal. The second half, the substitutions, in my opinion, changed the game for Argentina. It should have been a draw. I'm not saying the second goal should have stood, but I'm just saying in general, Argentina really pushed and did or would have deserved a draw in general. So looking at that, having the players, as you said, on paper, I think Argentina do have a better team when it comes to this. Um, let's look at the chat, and then we'll get to the starting 11 or the rumored starting 11. Paulo Miguel, thank you for joining us. Big ups to you, my friend, and everybody in the chat. Seminar saying Almada has huge potential, but not going to Europe will limit his development. I'm not sure Botafogo will help him. He needs to go to Europe through the transitional stop like Benfica. I mean, there's rumors that he'll go to Botafogo and then I believe Lyon in France or another team in France. I can't remember whom. So we'll see what happens with Almada. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I remember some reports saying that Scaloni, during the World Cup or before the World Cup, he had some talks with Almada saying basically that he needed to move outside of the MLS because he could go to a bigger team, and that's where he would have more chances with the national team. He's now finally trying to get a move. We'll see. In my opinion, coming back to the South American league wouldn't be the best move. We're talking about a incredible player with an incredible future. I would like to see him in Europe, honestly.
No, I would definitely like to see him in Europe. I think he deserves to be in Europe. With that said, this might come as a shock for maybe those that maybe don't follow South American football too much. I don't think it's unfair to say maybe the Brazilian league in South America is maybe the best league right now.
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say. It wouldn't be anything crazy, but still, you would like to see him make that jump over to Europe, in
yeah.
my opinion.
I think that our senior team has uh, has a quality of European leagues. If you just see
Yeah,
the the 26 that went to this last Copa America, the only one that plays in a South American team is Armani, which is our third goalkeeper or second goalkeeper.
yeah.
Uh, then in general, that's why I'm saying that I think he's gonna struggle. Is he gonna be the only one or one of the only two that are not in European teams that play for the national team? We'll see.
We'll see, and especially when you look at this upcoming season, the players in midfield and in attack that could potentially be joining the team. You have players from all around Europe for Argentina, young players that could make the jump. So it's going to be a big season for Almada, whether he stays at Botafogo or makes a jump to Europe. But him staying in South America, not going to Europe, I think could really hurt his chances of remaining with the national team. I could definitely see that. Let's get to more comments from the chat. Jaco Taco, the lack of respect from the French has been appalling. They have booed at our anthem a number of times already. Yes, well, we have a number of rivals in Argentina. We would never boo our rivals' anthem. No, I mean, it happened to the rugby team. The rugby team, the national anthem got booed. Uh, Obviously, the match versus Morocco, the national anthem too for Argentina. And that's just in general, that's a lack of respect, period, in my opinion. That has nothing to do with players.
It is. It is. I think that there has always been a hate in terms of sports, especially in terms of football, right? And now that we beat them, but even more, that is very recent what happened with Enzo Fernandez and that song, and we already talked a little bit about it. I think that's why the French fans are even more angry than before.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of dislike, let's say, from the World Cup final to Dibu versus Lille in the penalty shootout in the Conference League. There's a lot of dislike, a lot of
Yeah.
dislike.
No, and let me tell you something, because I was actually listening to a journalist talk about it, and it's true how I think that in general Argentinians, in terms of football, we like to have that hate in a way. Uh, People usually see Argentinians, and we kind of win that like title as arrogance. Especially when it comes to football. And I mean, we had Messi, we had Maradona, and maybe that's why. But even with this team that won so many things, it becomes even more that hate in terms of football.
It could be that. It could be that, and Argentina kind of thrives on it. Excuse me. It's like they take it. They love the hate. They love whatever comes with it, and they prove everybody wrong. Um, Hopefully, the national team can use this as fuel at the Olympics, and I have no doubt they will. They have the players for it, and the leaders for sure when it comes to that. Um, I would love nothing more than this. Argentina needs to take revenge on France by winning this in their land. I This would be massive if Argentina could win gold at the Olympics in Paris or in France. It would be big. It would be big.
Yeah, no, for sure. I still think that even if there's a potential Argentina against France in a final of the Olympics, we already won the big one. You know what I mean? It's
We
not gonna be a revenge.
No. We won the bigger one, the one that matters the most. Although it would always be nice to win another gold medal in football. All right, let's look at the starting 11, or the rumored or unofficial, let's say, starting 11. I'm just going to pull this up here. I mean, you mentioned it's a good team on paper. It's a very good team on paper, Osvaldo.
Yeah, no. The only change would be Kevin Senon out and Eki Fernandez in. With that change, Hesse would go a little bit more um, in front of that midfield, instead of playing as a defensive midfielder. I think he could play well in both positions. And Eki Fernandez, which of course he's a naturally defensive midfielder, would be in that place. But yeah, it's a Boca Juniors player by another Boca Juniors player. Two that have different qualities. They play in different positions. Um, Again, I don't think Kevin Senon had a good game. And these kind of tournaments, you want to put the players that are in best form.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Kevin will have a lot of matches in the future to prove all his potential. But now we have to put the best players.
No, of course, and especially after you don't win the first match, you want to win that second. As you said, you want to play your best players, ones that are in form. And this is a very good team. I mean, you spoke about Eki Fernandez. You have Getse, who won the Conference League with Olympiacos. You have Soler, who is reportedly wanted by Porto in Portugal. You have four World Cup winning players, excuse me, in Rulli, Otamendi, Almada, and Alvarez. Medina is a very good player as well. Beltran doing well with Fiorentina's first season there. So Argentina have the talent. Echeverri on the bench. You have Giuliano Simeone, who came off the bench as well in the first match. Who I thought actually played well in a very, very good role when he came on. So you have Kevin Senon as well. So I think Argentina definitely have the players to win this. Um, I'm hoping they're able to keep their emotions in check. I'm hoping the leaders, whoever has to step up, steps it up, because I think this is a match that Argentina can, and if I'm being honest, really should be winning.
I fully agree.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the chat here. Mikael saying, Cholito and Medina, I like them a lot. Let's see how how they perform in the match versus Iraq. Mikael saying, we banter each other every day, every time, all year long, among our friends, family, and everyone. We have a strange way to treat each other. Guessing, yeah, yeah. But it's going to be an interesting game versus Iraq. Iraq, as you mentioned, won their first match versus Ukraine. If Argentina do not win versus Iraq, they're pretty much all but out. Depending on what happens in the other match between Ukraine and Morocco. But if Argentina don't win, they're pretty much out. A draw maybe gives them a small possibility, but they really have to win.
Yeah, and we stay with all the incidents that happened during the match and after the match, but we didn't really talk about how Argentina played. I think that we can play way better. It was a little bit more of the same. We see good players, good individualities, but not a good collective play. I would say again that I don't think that the second goal of Morocco, that penalty, was a foul at all. That complicated the match even more. And then yes, in the second half we started to play a little bit better. We scored the first goal. We were very close to score the second one. Um, but yeah, I think we have to try to play like that second half throughout the whole 90 minutes. Um, and I also want to say that I think Morocco, they might go far in this Olympics. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
an easy opponent, probably the hardest one in the group stage. They have Hakimi, they have also other good players. I think it was their first goal or the second goal was really, really good, a really good play. We didn't play a bad team at all.
No, 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 no. Credit to Morocco, by the way. I know maybe we didn't touch upon it too much. This is a very good Moroccan team who played very well, especially in the first half. Their first goal was a very nice goal. It could easily be goal of the tournament. I know we're just a couple of matches in, but I would not be surprised if it finishes as goal of the tournament. They're a good team. Argentina, if Argentina plays the way they did after their substitutions, I think we have every opportunity in the world to go far in this tournament, or at least to make it out of the group stage, because I thought they played very well after the substitutions. Before it, they were kind of in and out of it. A little bit unlucky when it comes to the penalty kick, taking nothing away from Morocco. But yeah, this is a good team on paper. They have a solid squad. They should be going far. They should, at the very least, be making it out of the group. It's never easy when you lose the opening game, but I have confidence in this team that they could definitely change it around. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll see
Absolutely.
how they handle the pressure because now, as you said, we have to win. We have to win. We're playing a weaker team than Argentina in paper, so we'll see how they handle that pressure of having to win.
Yeah, and actually, this is a very good point as well, Seminar. It's a good opportunity for Julian Alvarez to play more selfish. He has been running for Messi in the national team, but for this team, he needs to play like the main man of the attacking line. And I would go as far as saying even for Manchester City, even when he's on the pitch, when he's playing, and let's say Haaland is not, it's almost as if Alvarez is still playing for the team rather than the team playing for him. Same thing for Argentina. So I agree with this, actually. I think he really has to be the main man. He has to lead this attack. He has to be less selfish. He has to be more selfish. Um, and this could, I'm hoping for, I don't want to say a breakout game, but I'm hoping for him to get a goal or two in this match versus Iraq, because I think he definitely has the potential to score them. Let's see what else. What else? I mean, Pablo Miguel, yeah, Ike Fernandez should move to Europe or stay in Boca for another year instead of Saudi. We spoke about this in the last video. It's mostly down to money, or if not all down to money, for being honest, when it comes to these moves. Unfortunately. And Paulo Miguel against Morocco in the first half, it was full of emotions. They were not settled, in my opinion. They definitely got more settled as the match went on. Hopefully, emotions are put aside. They're able to concentrate and get the win in the second match versus Iraq. Hopefully. On that, a little question to everybody and a question to you as well, Osvaldo. We don't normally do this, but predictions, if you want, you
Yeah,
think
no,
Argentina get the win?
I'm not like Seba who doesn't like to make predictions uh, because he thinks that it might be bad luck. I think that Argentina is going to win 3-0.
Wow. All right, that's a bold one. That's a bold one. I'm gonna say 2-1 or 3-1 for Argentina.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that. And I'm going into this, by the way, and I'll gladly admit it. I know nothing about this Iraq team. I saw the highlights of their opening match, but player for player, I don't know. But I do know that this is a very good Argentina team. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 or 3-1 for Argentina. You're saying 3-0 for Argentina.
Yeah.
Seminar saying 3-1 or 2-0. Paulo Miguel going big 4-0. Guessing for Argentina, of course, as well. So everybody here predicting an Argentina win. I think I'm hoping to say that's fair. I would love to see that score line in Argentina's favor. And we're less than 12 hours away from finding out what's going to happen in that match.
Let me ask you one last question. Which is the player that you would like to see in this match that we haven't seen in the first one? Maybe someone from the bench. I saw a lot of comments about Echeverri. Is there any other player that you would like to see?
I would like to see more of Simeone, to be honest. I would like to see more of him. Echeverri is the big name, very exciting. And especially with Echeverri, because he would be playing against players of his age group. I think that makes it more fair, even though he's probably the youngest player. I'm a big fan of his, and he's still very raw. So I'd love to see more of Echeverri or Simeone, actually. What about you?
Yeah, no, talking about Echeverri, yeah, this could be his first Olympics. He could play the next one in 4 years, I think, because he would still be under 23. Yeah, Echeverri is definitely someone that I would like to see more. Gondu, we know how much he gave to the team in the qualifiers. So I would say Echeverri and Gondu are my two players.
I forgot about Gondu. Scored some big goals. If I'm not mistaken, he was the one that scored the goal versus Brazil as well in the qualifiers. A couple of headed goals. He had 3 or 4 headed goals in the qualifiers for the Olympics. So a good shout, a very good shout. Hopefully we get to see all of them in a good way, and it's a 3-0 or 4-0 win. Or let's put it this way: hopefully it's a victory, it's a win for Argentina. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
If it's 0-4-0 or just 2-1 in the last minute with a 1 hour and a half wait, we'll take it.
We'll take it. We'll take it for sure. We'll take it. This comment here from Seminar: Echeverri plays similar like Almada, I think, but maybe Mascherano can make him play like McAllister in the senior team. Not sure about his physical ability though. Echeverri's still young. You could still, mold him or maybe try and get him into certain positions on the pitch. But he's a very exciting player. Very much so. Very much so. On that note, before we close things up, anything else you want to add, Osvaldo, or that was pretty much it?
That was pretty much it. I'm just very excited for tomorrow's game. As I said, it's not to be arrogant as they usually say Argentinians are. I think we're much better than Iraq. We have better players. We just need to stay calm, play our game, and show all our potential.
Yeah, no, I agree, and the potential is certainly there. Mikael, thank you very much for joining us. A big hug to you as well, my friend. Thank you for spending your Friday night, Friday afternoon, Sunday night, Sunday morning, whatever time it might be, for everybody. Thank you for joining us, Paulo Miguel as well, and everybody in the chat, whether it's Seminad or MMH, or Rana, Prio, Don, everybody, SRV, Dan, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. My name is Roy Nemer. This is Osvaldo Godoy of Mundo Albiceleste.com. Take care, everybody.